Hey folks, it's Oz from GNAT-TV. Today I'm with Alex from our sister station, GNAT-TV down in Bennington, and he's going to take us through this world of home movies. A lot of us have all sorts of home movies on many different devices, and the good news is that you still have this. The bad news is how are you going to get it off so you can see it in 30 years? So we're going to spend time just talking about this. Alex, this is a big one. I have one of these at home. Has my dad long gone on it. It's 8mm. This happens to be a super 8mm. I've got a projector. I can watch it. I don't know if the bulb will last another 30 years. Okay, man, what the hell do I do with that?
So a good thing is you still have these, and another good thing is you can still get this footage off, whether that's, you know, you're paying someone, a company to do this, which they are out there, and a lot of them do this. The other option is, you know, like you were saying, your bulb may not be good enough, but if it is, I would absolutely project that onto a wall or a sheet or something, and then capture that in a modern camera.
A lot of these are still around. I actually have some of these sitting in my house. The V8, the big old clunky VH tape. My understanding is if this is containing a home movie, the more I show my home movie on this through the years, the worse the quality degrades.
Yes, that is correct.
Is that true?
That is correct. And again, it's a physical storage medium, so some tapes will hold up better than others. At GNAT-TV, we've been going through some of these, and tapes from nearly 30 years ago, some are amazing quality, and some are nearly unplayable, and some are unplayable. Some have expired.
So then I have a machine that I can still plug this into, that would, when I hit play, it'll show it. I guess the next question I have for you is, will I have a TV that could actually take the connection from the old VHS player 30 years from now or 20 years from now?
That seems very unlikely. We've seen a steady decline in the amount of RCA ports, or the ports that a VHS player would plug into. Oftentimes, televisions just have one set these days, and that suggests to me in 20 or 30 years they're going to have zero. You can have these get hooked up to a computer through a converter and things. It's a little more complicated, but it's not the end of the world if you don't have a TV.
Next up, it went from this to this, and this was a big invention, and I don't know how long it lasted, but same problem?
They still have that physical storage medium, that tape in there. So these do succumb to the same problems as the larger VHS. A lot of these aren't quite as old yet, so that's helpful. But one of the biggest problems is these never got as common as VHS. So it's unlikely that people just have a DV tape player laying around.
I don't at all. You're right.
We were talking 20 or 30 years for these VHSs. I think within 5, 10, 15, you're not going to find a way to play these easily. That these are going to turn into a specialty company type situation.
So I guess we need to talk about the elephant in the room, which is the DVD. So here's what I did. You can laugh at me now because I think it's going to be all bad. I shot my old family thing against the screen, and I shot it onto this, and then I've recently converted it all to this, to the famous DVD, and I was really proud of myself. Okay, tell me why. I just screwed up.
Actually, it's very good that you took the initiative to kind of move this stuff along through the storage mediums.
It's going to be bad, isn't it? Go ahead, Alex.
But the discs are becoming obsolete as well. They're aging. Again, they're not as old as VHS or even DV tapes. Well, they've been around similar times, but DVD tape has completely fallen off, whereas DVD is still sticking around. You can still go to the store, buy a DVD. There's still players and writers, etc. But again, this is a physical storage medium, and we all know that if that disc gets scratched, now it's unusable.
Right.
If it's not,
I don't even have a backup of it. I don't have a backup.
If it's not kept in a properly, a proper temperature,
right.
If it's hot and cold, it can warp the disc. So many number of things. These are very volatile. I've heard people peg lives for DVDs at around 20 years. I feel like that's just a common, reasonable estimate for physical storage mediums, to say 20 years.
20 years.
VHS has been around for quite some time. I think we're pushing up to like the 40 year.
Right.
And again, we have tapes from 30 years ago that we're still holding on. A lot of times discs from 10 years ago, those are more questionable to me than a tape. I feel like a tape, if I have a player, it will play. A disc is a lot more question marks.
Let's say I've got a DVD, I know it plays, but in 20 years, I may still have a DVD player that I kept, because I was going to say, like, in 20 years, you'll be able to see it, kids.
Right.
But will that DVD player be able to plug into any kind of computer that's still in existence, or am I going to be...
I think that can depend on a couple things. One, the age of the player. You know, is it a more recent one? Did he get it at the end of the life cycle of when discs were prevalent, or is it more older, a bit earlier in the cycle?
Right.
Because that depends on the outputs it has. More often than not, a new one will have HDMI component and RCA, where some of the older ones just used to have RCA and component. And so, do I think HDMI is going to be around in 20 years? Not in its current form, but that at least future-proofs you a little bit. I would still recommend folks who have precious memories on DVDs to work on converting those into digital formats.
Right.